Bake Off star Prue Leith joined Talk TV Uncensored presenter Piers Morgan about how his point of view could cause a rift within her family. Kruger recently told fellow MPs a change in the law was a risk as there are a lot of people who want Granny and Grandpa to hurry up and die. The TV star was fierce in her reply against her son's values and claimed he needed to man up and let her live her life. When opening up on the statement made and how she felt it would impact their relationship, Prue explained, "Well, that's gonna be a real problem. We are devoted to each other, and he generally has very principled objections. I think he's quite wrong. First of all, I'm hoping that he will not manage to muster all his mates in Parliament and vote against it, and that I will manage to persuade him before I get there." Piers laughed and added, "It's a fascinating situation where your own son is literally in the Houses of the Parliament campaigning for the complete opposite." She commented, "Many families have disagreements about all sorts of things, we happen to have one about this. But I really think I honestly believe that if I should be in control of my own life. I mean, I think the idea that somehow human life is so sacred, and it's sacred to whom, it's not sacred to me and it's my life?" Adding fuel to the fire, Piers pressed, "I get it, but here's the thing, if I talk to your son about this, I'm sure he'd say, well, that's fine, that might be her view, my mother's view, but actually, I love my mother. I don't want to lose my mother, and I want to get every moment I can out of her, and if she's not in searing agony but it's simply drifting towards the end of her life, I don't want her to be pulling the plug." Piers, "We would only be having this conversation when I was within 6 months of dying," Prue bluntly admitted. "I don't believe that my son would make my last 6 months even more distressing, by refusing me that." Piers continued to push Prue, "I think he would argue, I don't want to speak for him, but I think from the arguments Hess put forward, he would probably argue to that point." "Sure he would," she replied. Piers asked, "He would say you're making your decision will compound his distress. What about his right to not let you take your life?" Prue fiercely replied, "No, I'm sorry. When it comes to my own life, it's my life. Tough, Hess going to lose me within 6 months anyway. So man up and bear it a few months earlier or a few weeks earlier." Piers went on to ask Prue why she was so passionate about the right for people to have assisted death, to which she reflected on her own life and claimed it was a big decision. "I started getting interested in the whole subject when my elder brother died, and he died a really horrible death," she said. "Everybody should have the choice. I'm not saying that they have to do it, of course. Because, as the situation is now, it definitely drives people to Switzerland, if they can afford it, and very often to attempted suicide if they can't afford it." Not only did Kruger come under fire for his comments about assisted death, but he has recently been slammed for his views on women's rights after the overturning of Roe v. Wade. He said, "They think that women have an absolute right to bodily autonomy in this matter, whereas I think in the case of abortion that right is qualified by the fact that another body is involved." As MPs tried to speak over him, Kruger added, "I would offer to members who are trying to talk me down that this is a proper topic for political debate, and my point to the front bench is I don't understand why we are lecturing the United States on a judgment to return the power of decision over this political question to the states, to democratic decision makers, rather than leaving it in the hands of the courts." Piers Morgan Uncensored airs Monday to Thursday from 8 p.m. on Talk TV.